Hi, everybody. Welcome to Discover College Soccer. Today, I'm lucky enough to be joined by Coach Evan at Northeast Texas Community College. Welcome, Coach.
Hey, thank you so much for having me, Matt. I've been looking forward to joining you and doing this for a while. Grateful for the opportunity.
Yeah, happy to have you. You're in Mount Pleasant, Texas, which most people, I'm guessing, unless you're in Texas and or maybe Arkansas, Oklahoma, you might know where that is. But for everybody, you're talking east and just a smidge north of Dallas, kind of near that Arkansas, Louisiana line. Um, 2-year men's program over there, and we were just talking before this. Typical in the soccer world, we know a lot of the same people. You had a short stint with the place that I coached at for a bit. I mean, it's just one of those things where uh, one thing I always tell recruits is everybody, people play the 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon game in the soccer world. It's got to be 2 degrees. So word travels fast, and be careful what you do when you're talking to coaches.
Said it any better? Yeah, we're about an hour 45 from a good reason why I took this position. Frisco, right? Give or take. I drive like a granny, so 55 saves lives, but hour 45. Some guys can make it quicker, and then I'm sure there's somebody drives slower than me. But that is a great place. The renowned FC Dallas, academy place is fertile ground to recruit from. So that's a big reason why I took the position. We're also north of about an hour, give or take, from Tyler and Longview, which I refer to as small cities. Mount Pleasant is probably what somebody would refer to as a big town as opposed to a small city. Hotels, restaurants, we always look like, the Chick-fil-A came a year or so ago. I think Chipotle and Cane's, to be serious, are next. We have a Starbucks. People are laughing at that stuff, but it's the kind of place that people try to move to, to get out of the city traffic and cost of living. And I think there's some folks here that look at it and go like, oh, it's getting big, but then folks also like the growth. I look at, we got an education center here. There's the college that we work at, which is a great place. Tyler is a good place to work from. Longview is right down the road. Dallas, Longview, and Tyler all have 4-year schools that fit the profile that we can push our guys onto, that I can recruit from. So you start to get a little sense of my man. It's 4 hours from Houston, which has an MLS academy. And I'll let one more, when you started going east, Shreveport, Louisiana is 2 hours, 4-year schools there. So I think I'm, crazy like a fox. We'll see 20 years from now how it works out.
Well, I mean, you mentioned those areas, and is that where you're primarily looking when you're recruiting in terms of like, are you going to tournaments there, or what events do you do? Do you look at league games, high school games, kind of what's your recruiting mantra right now?
Yeah, I love it. So first of all, just this as well as everybody else that you speak to, I'm looking for the best players. I should say, I'll go the old Herb Brooks hockey. I'm looking for the right players, not say the best players, right? But I want the same best players, the same right players that every other coach wants at any level. We play in one of the toughest college soccer conferences at any level. We got Tyler Junior College, Angelina recently. One of my former players is the head coach at Richland Junior College in Dallas, not in our region, which we call conferences at this level, or conference, which we call region, but they're in our general geographic region. So anyway, to keep up with those guys, I think you obviously want to, like concentric circles. When you're, or ripples in a pond. I want to win the local, get the best player in my town, towns nearby, expand it, and then obviously I'm 97 years old, so I recruit from all of my stops and places and friends and contacts of former players and internationally included. Um, Healthy Bounce is starting with Texas kids because they financially fit well, and we've got great players in the academies here in Texas. So you start there and build out. I hope that's about as clear. It wasn't as clear as mud for you, but um, start there. If you look at my roster, our rosters, part of why I took this job, is I can get a good blend of guys, of dudes. that are from the local area that, that stand out, that fit in well with guys through the rest of Texas and the region. I left out Oklahoma when we were talking on the earlier question, just north of me, 4 hours from Tulsa. And so Texas kids, they fit financially. It's more affordable. We have an out of state rate, but it doesn't matter whether you're in Tulsa, Oklahoma, Louisiana, Florida, Owensboro, Kentucky that we talked about, or you could be in France. It's the same rate for anybody outside of our state. And it's the Texas community colleges are some of the most affordable in the country. So I can go after, I feel pretty good if I can get a recruiting call, if I get that far, and for the international guys and the local guys, if I can get them on campus, anybody within 4 or 5 hours, if I get them on campus, we want them, they want them, they're coming.
Okay. Now, what about camps? Do you guys do your own camps, or do you or your staff work other camps? Are they part of your recruiting mix?
I've done it before, at smaller places, and would like to build it up here. First years, and I'll give a nod to something we talked about earlier. First 2 years, yeah, I was coaching both teams, the women teams, by necessity, right? So that, and having 2 teenage kids, and I've got a teenage student athlete daughter with a medical special need, wife who was in nursing. So I'm making excuses. So I chose not to go crazy here. It's doable to do camps and clinics here. We are working. I hired 2 really good young assistants, giving them sort of carte blanche with my LLC. Say, hey, let's go ahead and get the camp up and running. Just an ID one, like a 1 day, all day college prep clinic. And yes, I do go work. Like I think SMU in Dallas is the most fruitful. I've got a long-term relationship with them. It's a high-level program. Most of the kids that go there will not be able to attend there. Even the coaches that I interact with there are opportunities for me to develop relationships and recruit. So I'll keep that one up. Perfect World is SMU ID camp, college prep in the summer. They have a winter 1 day ID thing. Do an ID camp here in the summer and the winter. Our first one here under me will be this spring, hopefully, if we can fill it. And then as far as the club part, being able to, I've got a futsal program that I run with some youth locally, and if I could build out in time, that's all my interest, doing some like local club. This area is rapidly growing, so in time I'll have some opportunities. I don't want to travel, is the point. Like a lot of uppity college, I don't want to go travel to do what I want to do. I have a field and I keep offering people. Somebody's going to nibble at some point and say, okay, yeah, we'll give you a team and you train them at your. So I don't mind to travel for the team. I don't want to travel an hour to go coach the team, if that makes sense.
Yeah. No, I get it. Well, in terms of, you mentioned a little bit players moving on. Kind of talk to me a little bit about that in terms of what your players have been able to, what folks who come there are looking to do. How has that transition been for somebody that's at the 2 year level moving over to the 4 year?
Yeah, so you can tell by, like you said, looking up my history, or anybody knows me. I've worked every job from chief cook to bottle washer, in this industry and coaching. Didn't have a family or mentorship there coming up from that, but I had one really really good blessing. I played for one of the best programs in history of college soccer. I was not a big guy. I was just in a big program. I played at Southern Connecticut State University, which is the gift that keeps on giving. You could run down the list of guys, but Juan Carlos Osorio was part of that program, Mexican national team coach in Russia in 2018. Ray Reed, my college coach, who just retired, and we've got guys all over the country, what have you. So I'm in my coaching prime. Family is in a really good way, which makes a difference. Where we want to be, and I can really get focused and get after it. And all those experiences led me to say I left a 4-year school that was about to go D2, and I look at it and I said, this doesn't smell right. And my experience, high level, D2, Final Fours, what have you, and then as an assistant, I was at a marquee D2 program out here, Midwestern State, and I chose that to do grad school because it was similar to that Southern Connecticut experience. Point being, I said all my experiences, we always recruited from Richland and Tyler and all these places. Let me go try to fight against. No, let me go. I love that level, and I believe in my ability to push our guys on. So in my first 2 years, everybody that wants to get placed, I get them placed. You know, there's a place for everybody. And so I work my contacts. I write an email, physical, technical, tactical, psychological, you know, athletic, ability, you know, awareness, attitude. I write an email. I make them put a 5-minute video together that I direct them how to do. And then I call coaches, I guide them. And I said, this is how you should make your video. You know, the things you should put in there. Coaches don't want to see a quick, you know, fool you, you know, quick glamorous thing. Show the definition of falling down but getting back up. Show that you can tackle, play both sides of the ball, all those things. So I work really hard. I take great pride in pushing the guys out the other side, and I think that's why they want to join us. They want to come. So my first experience, junior college, you know, was right before the pandemic. You know, changed things for a lot of people. We left, and unfortunate to come over here. I sent you know, a French international guy, one of the hardest working kids. I always, you know, the hallmark is like, well, you could have played with us at Southern Connecticut. You know, I would have recruited you at Midwestern State. And matter of fact, I sent him to Midwestern State. Was the leader, captain. He was 2 years, one of the best goalkeepers in the country and in the region. And then his partner, is a captain, a local Dallas kid, I sent to go play for one of my college teammates up in New Jersey. So take a lot of pride in that. And we're on our way to moving these guys here, you know, right now as well. So I'm really proud of it. The degrees that we have, they fit into almost any public state school, and you know, most of the you know, what do you want to call it, liberal arts private schools that, you know, that have a variety of degrees. Most of our guys are really well suited to go on to those schools, you know, when they finish up.
Okay. Well, let's talk a little bit more about the school. I mean, you mentioned obviously it's geography and the advantages of that, but now that you've been there a season or two, what are some of the other things you found that are pretty awesome about the school? Some things we might not even know by going through the website.
So we used to say, you know, I'll keep referencing, you know, Southern Connecticut and, you know, Midwestern State. You know, Midwestern State was a D1 and a D2 and a D1 body, right? So we're a 2-year school and a 4-year body. So we have housing, meals, athletic facilities, growing area. It's a safe place. You know, you look out my field and you see cows and goats and what have you, because we're you know, about 5 minutes from the town. So we're in an ag area, and a lot of these 2-year schools in this region have really developed ag programs. And we have some guys go into it, you know, so that's neat. And I think it's a great experience. Way back in the day, growing up in the Northeast Yukon, you know, it was an ag place. It was on a dairy farm, basically, you know, and they've done pretty well over the years in all their sports. So at any rate, so we have housing, which changes the game. Many of the 2-year schools have contracts with, you know, local apartments or their city schools. So I got to first explain to guys that overcome, hey, that's not what we are, right? The local kids as well as and then they go, oh, now, you know, I'd rather tell everybody the warts and what we don't have. I'm not trying to sell anybody anything slick, but I believe in our ability and what we do across the student athlete experience, athletically, academically, financially, socially, geography. We can provide a really good experience, and I'll put what we do against what anybody's doing at any level of the game. So for the right kids, it's the right fit. We're going to train them at a high level. They have a quality, you know, nutrition plan in the cafeteria. The housing is good. You know, high level academics. Again, it's not Harvard, but you can get out of the academic experience at any school what you put into it. You know, the kids that want to train hard, you know, we're playing against some of the best college soccer conference. You know, Richland, who we play to open our season every year, you know, they routinely play, you know, MLS second teams, you know, you know, MLS2 teams. They play every D1 team in the region. I'd like to catch, you know, call me crazy, you know, judge me in 20 years, but I'd like to catch that level where people want to play us at those teams. And then Tyler, you know, who's consistently done it year after year. So, you know, when you're good, you're good. And you also know what you need to do to measure yourself. So our athletic experience is good. Academics, you know, high enough level. Financial, one of the most affordable values, you know, in the region, in the country, you know, especially obviously for kids who want to choose 2-year schools. And then the social and geography. Yeah, if you want to be at Big State U, crowd surfing at the, you know, 100,000 people, you know, with Prime coaching a football team, we're not your place. But you know, those kids aren't looking at us in the first place.
Yeah, those are the different animals, different animals.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, rewind, I'd say bring us back to the middle of the season, kind of walk me through what does a typical week look like for the players in terms of practices, classes, games, all that kind of stuff.
I want to say 3 phases, right? So obviously the preseason phase, we're not fully funded. I like our budget. We have a good budget, so no complaints to my administration. Those folks, you can always ask for more, and they're always trying to help us. But we don't come in. August 1. I think you can. August 1, the first week of August, you can come in pretty much for um, preseason NJCA. We're not doing that. Maybe some years from now, some fundraising. We've never had an issue possible, but preseason, I'm old school, so we're doing 3-a-days. I break it up with modern science. I'm a health phys, ex-phys guy background, so morning for 2 weeks, give or take. We will do fitness in the morning for a lot of reasons. One, because it's healthy. We go do it. Two, get the guys up early in the morning. Let them go back up, rest, wash up, come out for a tactical session in the afternoon. Fitness is already done, so just warm up tactics, short, sweet, to the point. And in the evening, we just play. Date wise, teams are coming in first week of the of August, sometimes August 1st. I look at NJCA starting date and then our first day of class, right? Generally August 25th or something like that down here. So, and then, first day of opening of the season is usually like a lot of places, the Thursday before the first weekend. You can do that. So we're starting to play around the 21st, 22nd, 23rd of August usually, and classes start right after that. So 10 days to 2 weeks behind that. 2 weeks is pushing it budget wise for us with what I want to do. So try to get in on the 2 week on the nose, maybe around the let me just say the 23rd. Maybe we're going to start playing. I try to get them in, around the 10th, 11th or so, and we start about 10 days. We start training, and I build in, that 3-a-days and an exhibition or two. Season starts, classes start, right, and we play Tuesday, Friday in our league. Modern science, obviously, with that, the advent of the academies and anybody with all due respect to my high school coaching friend, we're not trying to play 3-4 games in a week. We're going to play more games. We can play 22 games. It's almost impossible. And we have a team in our region, right, which we call conference here, 13 hours away. Okay. Don't get me into that conversation. But at any rate, so we're pretty much Tuesday, Friday from September 5th until, conference tournament starts, first week in November. So I have relationships with a couple folks. So Richland will start our season off pretty much every year. We'll start off with them. And then, we may have a bye week. We're doing some juggling right now with the conference, but basically Sunday evening, I do like an old school, English, like a Wednesdays. So we'll come in, warm up and just play, coach them through the playing. Monday is a heavy load if we don't play. Otherwise, Monday we're doing some training and usually defensive type stuff and get ready for Tuesday's match. Wednesday you got to recover, right? So you do some recovery, but you can't waste the day. So recovery on the field, depending whether we play Friday or not, some tactical stuff. Thursday can hit it again a little bit. Then I like to do some stuff related to probably some finishing. Friday, if we're at home, it's great. But I give them from Friday off until Sunday evening most of the time, right? You can cure disease in that period of time. So give them some time off, and we have every Saturday off and Friday evening. Sometimes we're getting back 3-4 in the morning from that long trip, but that generally looks like it. Winter break comes along, and spring season. So yeah, I guess it is 3 phases I was telling you about. So spring season, I'm a big futsal guy, as we talked a little bit earlier. High level FIFA rules, technical tactical futsal. So February, I give them 2 weeks to be a student, to acclimate when school starts back, in January. February 1 till spring break. Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, weight room and futsal. That's what we do. And I got an outdoor court that we use. Weather's pretty good here. So we're pretty much able to hit that. The Tuesday, Thursday, Friday doesn't change after spring break, late March until the end of the semester, late April. We'll play our 3-4 exhibition games, 2 home, 2 away. But it's Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. They can work. They can be they can be students, whatever they need to do. Monday, Wednesday. We train early on Fridays so they can have the weekend. And we got to play games. We don't have classes on Fridays like a lot of places. So we have to play games either Friday or Saturday when we don't have class. So it's a pretty good schedule in the spring, but we stay consistent throughout the year. We can train and get after it. So that's hopefully a good snapshot of what a seasonal, week looks like in the 3 different phases of the year.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Well, is there a roster size that you find is ideal that you're trying to hit each year?
So again, ideally, like a lot of us, sweet spot somewhere. I'm not going to run away. A guy that absolutely wants to be here, that really fits, somewhere in the neighborhood of 24, 25. Like as long as I've got 20 guys on the roster, first year, I'd rather have the right people. You get going on the the wrong direction. It's hard to to eliminate that, in midstream. Obviously, much easier at a 2-year school. But at the end of the day, I'd rather have the right guys and less number right guys. I choose places, including here, that, like I said, if they want you to drive the bus, paint the field, have 57 guys on a roster, so I'm not your guy, right? I'm looking at coach dudes, have valuable, impactful relationships with these guys, and be a mentor and see them grow. And I want to program a family, not just a fly-by-night team. On the other hand, I can do it club-wise and 20-ish, whatever, and they don't. Thankfully, we had a really good AD look, same thing. He's like, I'm not trying to have you have 40 guys. We got to hit certain marks, like every school. We want guys to graduate. That's the big mark right now, right? So that's important. But at any rate, 24, 25. But I'm not, locked into it as far as beds and stuff. You got to sort of predict it, but we can have 23, and if I need to have 26, the issue, the higher you get, I don't always have the funding to treat those guys properly, and you can't have the same quality of relationship you have with those guys the bigger you get. So somewhere above 20, pushing towards 26, 22, 23, 24, 25. I'd like to have a backup at each position if possible.
Yeah, makes sense. What about staff? What does the rest of your staff look like, or other staff in the athletic department that help with the team? What do they all do?
Things that I look for. And Matt, great question. I shouldn't expect anything less. Watching what you do, and I was looking for it. Yeah. So first of all, administratively, we've got a good AD. A lot of these jobs, the baseball coach is the athletic director, right? It's coupled with there. So I've done that before, so you learn to live with and understand that. You compliment it on his field. Don't mess up the field. When you're walking by, and try not to have a lot of heavy lifting. He needs to help the program in the middle of the baseball season in spring, because our seasons are flipped. No, all kidding aside, having a great athletic training staff, and having a good sports information side. So our assistant AD is a local guy, but he's got big world connection. He worked for Bill Parcells with the Giants and the Cowboys. I'm sorry, with the Jets and the Cowboys at one point in time. Loves sports, just like our AD. They don't necessarily know soccer, so when they want soccer, hey, we need a guy in place that can tell us what we need to do in the soccer role. We defer to you, thankfully, right? But we love sports, and not this is what sports should look like, and the value of it. Administration gets it, so they'll stick up for athletics, and so great athletic training. We have a mobile athletic training. We got to we're in Northeast Texas. When I say the trailer capital of the world, that's not a derogatory term. We lead in terms of like horse trailers, housing trailers. A lot of them are made right here. Big Tex trailers. So he's got a trailer that's fully decked out. It's a mobile athletic training facility that we can use anywhere, +1 on the campus. So that is a blessing. And then the man behind it is terrific. He's a really good athletic trainer, as good as I've had anywhere. So that's a blessing. And then he also has a staff of student, trainees. And then they also do, he's got, high def, quality images. We've had some ups and downs as far as the website stuff, but that's an easy fix. But the camera and all that stuff. So everything that we need there to have, athletic website, quality, high res stuff. Our athletic director signed off for me on, so we go, YouTube live videos with Huddle. So all of our games we can broadcast live. I'm not one to go like, oh, I don't want anybody to, if I can't figure it out to beat you, we're not good enough. We're not good, so watch my games. I don't mind. So them signing off on us to be able to have, the capability to broadcast all our games on YouTube for all the families to watch, the quick picture quality that we have for, for stuff that we want to put on the website and advertise to kids, and then the athletic training facility at this level, that's fantastic. And then in terms of, it's a really well-run institution. So, pretty much anything you need, I've learned over the years, just making up an example, like in the business office, there's a lady, you want to prep kids like any school should be doing it. I want to take the guys in, and I don't have, trying to think, some big D1 basketball institution, a dedicated staff to mentor the guys on when they're going to be a number one draft pick, what to do. But I can go over and set up something similar with somebody in the business office and go, oh yeah, I'll set up a flyer and bring them in. I can do the same thing. We don't have a dedicated sports psychology on staff, but the counseling center goes, oh yeah, I can do a mental health day for you. And so you go and you put a little staff together. We do assistance here. It's really set up for young guys, maybe doing a GA or finish the GA, the full-time positions. But they live on the campus, fully benefited, health insurance, food, meals free, so somebody that wants to get into coaching, or already is into coaching, maybe they're doing their masters or they finished the GA and they want to be, working with somebody like myself for maybe 3-4 years if they want, turn them over, move on to the next one. It's really set up well for that. They can leave here and do some great things, full time. You'll probably get a head coaching job when they leave, to be honest.
Yeah, it's fantastic. Well, Coach, you've given us a bunch of info. Don't want to keep you here too long. Just got one last question for you, and that is, if you had one piece of advice for somebody going through this college recruiting process right now, what would that be?
Fit, right? I demand every one of our players. I did it with my staff that we just referred to that I hire. Have a core values, try to know yourself, what you are, what your family's about. So for me, it's athletic, sport related. What are the facilities? What are all the things we just talked about, related to sport that relate to how's that going to impact you? If you're a goalkeeper, for example, is there somebody to train you? What do they do with the goalkeepers? Academic, do they have your major, right? Financial, what's the cost of attendance? And I'll get into, how much does it cost? Can I afford it? What's the value, right? We don't have to have that lengthy discussion, but, what value can you put on it? So athletic, academic, financial, social. Do you want to be in that big environment, crowd surfing? Do you mind being in a small place? You want to be by the ocean? We're not in by the, so weigh all those things. And then finally, socially, size, big, small, and then geographic. Do you need to be in the warm weather, cold weather? So I would take those things, prioritize that, make your list, talk to folks, and go from there. And I demand that all of our players and people that I work with go that, so I know their heart and they know mine.
Couldn't agree more, Coach. Really appreciate it. Wish you the best of luck, and hopefully, if you find your way to any of the recruiting events down in Florida, you let me know. All right.
Well, I keep a Jacksonville address. My camp clinic business is registered in Jacksonville, Florida. Seems like it's getting further and further away, but 20 years from now, would love to be, dual, a condo in North Florida place. And yeah, I would love to catch up. Hopefully we can talk some more, another time, what do you say, off the record or whatever, but super grateful for you. If I can connect you with any, folks that need to be talking to, I got a few in mind. You're a stellar guy. I got nothing but good to say about you. And hopefully I can see you in that locker room sometime. Where in Florida are you, boss?
I'm in Bradenton.
Love it. Love it.
Yeah.
Wife's got family in Orlando. We'll be out there sometime this year. I'll look you up.
Sounds like a plan. Take care, Coach.
God bless. Have a great, holiday, Christmas, Hanukkah, New Year's, whatever you celebrate. Have a great New Year.
Likewise. Take care.
Blessings. Yeah.